Starting off with the young horse, this guy's a 5-year-old. He is quite green, quite spooky. He's quite an inexperienced 5-year-old in the fact that I just haven't gone to any shows yet. I want to jump him, but he's just taking time to develop, a bit of a late developer in the fact that he was a late foal. So I've just, especially while there's no shows on, I've just decided to work on his flat work a lot, making sure that he is really balanced to ride. I personally like a horse to be sharp off the aids or quick off the aids, but very soft. And having ridden at a higher level dressage now, it's really important to me that they feel nice, they're responsive, but also I'm aware by producing more and more horses, it's really important that they focus on where they're going. We're not trying to control them, and they're actually sort of, you know, open to see the ideas about what's in front of them. I'm not trying to hide anything from them, and I really believe for a horse that's a bit spooky like this, that's the best way forwards. So I want him to see what's going on, and I physically encourage that by making sure the hand's soft enough at times. So I start him walk, and if you've got a really fresh horse, yeah, go in trot, get going, whatever pace you need to be able to help the horse settle. This guy's pretty good, so, and he's been here a few times before, so walk is fine. I stay, unlike the older horse, I stay to start with in the middle of the track, purely because I want him to be, I want to know where centre is really. If he spooks, he tends to sort of shoot one way or the other. So I want to just work to start with on a really relaxed trot, finding the rhythm. The rhythm is the absolute key, because then I'll get the balance. And not too energetic, he's got a massive trot. So just try and just keep him just yeah, relaxed, swinging. Even in the contact ideally. I think that also helps. You can tell if you ride in the middle of the track when it's quite narrow like this, you know, he falls left, so I know I have to push him off my left leg all the time, not hold him with the right, push him off the left leg, teach him to stand up a little bit more and stay straight in that way, not find the easiest way to fall his left. So I have to also consciously make sure there's enough weight in my right stirrup, making sure I'm not sitting over to the left as well, which would be encouraging him to drift that way. But I suspect more it's the fact that he's spooking a little bit away from the hedge. So what I can do with that, if that was a perpetual problem, or if you wanted to make sure, you know, now he's had trotted around once, he always goes left. Would you know, I'm going to use these rails here just to be able to help train him not to go left. Good boy. So now he wants to spook right, which is natural, completely natural. So take my time, and when he spooks, he speeds up. So I'm going to make sure with my rising, slow him down a bit. Good boy. Want him, as I say, my hands are ideally equidistant from the neck, steady. Sometimes they move, as they do. I try to, I have to carry a whip, sorry, because sometimes he's just a little bit slow off the leg, and I personally would rather a softer aid. A stronger aid than keep kicking. So sometimes one little tap would be better than kick. I'm not a fan of that. And I actually don't wear spurs with him at this point in time. Like most young horses, he's a bit funny with the leg. If I put the spurs on, he tends to be a little bit backward against them, so I tend to actually not use them. But I'm really conscious of not kicking him, so I want to use a light leg. How do I get him sharper in front of the leg? Teach him to ride in balance so he can swing. That's the first thing. So he's soft, so you can ride him forward, you can allow him forwards. Next thing, always encourage the forward motion. So if he is a bit quick one day, do you know what? Enjoy it, use it, help it, rather than try and control it, because that can make him a little bit backwards. And yeah, make sure he's physically good. So his muscles are good, he's able to be soft and swinging and release, because when they're tight it's like the handbrake's on perpetually. Obviously his feed, make sure his feed's good, and then obviously I work him in here, for example, the gallops, so he wants to go forward rather than the school. I mean, we're so lucky, but you know, at hacking at the moment you're allowed to hack again now, so yeah, use that and maybe follow a horse, whatever it is, and make it really black and white. You want them to go, they go. You want them to slow down, they slow down. So they do come responsive off the aids, otherwise it's amazing how you suddenly want them, you suddenly realise you're giving them lots of aids and they haven't listened to any of them. Okay, so start a little bit of shoulder fore, or even just a bit of flexion. Change diagonal there. So I start to, good boy, sit on the right. I don't know if you notice, but when I sit on the right, generally it comes down a little bit. I have a better frame when I sit on the left diagonal, so I'm going to stay on that one. Sometimes I do what's best for the horse, so if it's not necessarily correct by a copybook, textbook, but it works, I do it. Horses give you excellent feedback. If they like something, they'll tell you. If they don't like something, they'll also tell you. So to me, I'm guided by what the horse does, and if it works, if it creates a better picture and result by a slightly different outside the box idea, do it. I think it's always worth investing in that time and trial and error. Just because someone's told you something will work doesn't necessarily mean that's going to suit your horse on that day. Okay, so small leg yields. For me, the leg yield is simply he steps away softly from that inside leg, supported by the outside. So at the moment I'm using right leg towards left leg and left hand, and now a little bit of left leg right by the girth, leg doesn't move, towards my right hand and my right leg. And I just keep playing with this without changing any bend. Just want him just to learn to step sideways, and it's a great way for him to teach him connection as well. Improve the contact, because you're always thinking, right, push forwards into the contact. I want him at the moment just to step over, same rhythm, rather than it being a bit about being, crossing. This is purely about the first steps of teaching him to be soft away from the leg, because what happens generally when people ask for leg yield is the horse tightens away from the leg and you change the frame. Well, I don't want that. I just want him to learn to be relaxed. Good, so do a tiny bit of shoulder fore again. And notice, so far I haven't done any transitions. There's small balance transitions, don't get me wrong, but actually I'm just maintaining the pace, just the rhythm. Yeah, okay, so he's a bit against the hand there. I could use, good boy. A bit more flexion here. So all I'm doing here is aiming to rise a little bit taller in my body, making sure my weight is equal in the stirrups, just opening my right hand a little bit. For me, I get flexion this way sometimes, so I turn the hand over so it comes more from the elbow and the wrist. Sometimes I cross the hand a bit into the neck if I need more, but I try, or aim not to. I aim for them to be responsive. So now I'm going to do a bit more warmed up. The shoulder fore on the left, and I'm sat on the right diagonal. I notice he goes down again, so I'm going to change diagonal. Sit on the inside, and I think he comes up straight away. Fascinating. So something that happens means that he's better at the moment doing left shoulder fore with the left diagonal being sat on. That's fine. I'm going to stay on that because I want to train him to do the right thing rather than make it hard for him. So what I do is when that's established, that's good. Now I'm just going to change for a few steps. Steady, good, and then change back again. So it could be slightly weaker that way, not quite so strong. So I just have to work through it and just build up the strengths and work on the good bits. Okay, we're going to change Zorain and woohoo. Good boy to walk, progressive. Good lad. Nice. Okay, so this way he's not quite so good. As you've already seen, he's better when I sit on the inside diagonal at times, so I'm going to play around with that. And again, if I've got a horse coming back from any rehabilitation or anything like that, or is weak on one side, I do what's the most comfortable for them, and then intersperse bits of the more challenging work. So in other words, I make it really easy for them, and then when they start to sort of add the bits in that they need to work on, they lose their balance, they lose their frame, trot doesn't feel so good or whatever. So I'm always just trying to build up all the good bits for them. Okay, so he's just pulling a little bit, so the walk isn't quite as nice as I'd like. Oh, good boy, that's better. So for me, the walk, you can feel the back move underneath you. It's got a clear march. For him, I don't mind the contact's a little bit, seeking the contact forwards a bit, fine, and a bit lower. That's natural for a younger horse. What I do want is that if I ask for a little half halt or slow down, and with my body particularly, he responds, which he does. So we're ready to trot. I choose a moment when he's soft, Good boy. He comes up a little bit. I think that's fine for today, or for now. Again, I'm going to start in the middle because it's not been round this way yet and he's a bit spooky. So let him take me. See if I can let him take me. So if I feel and go tight, when it's safe obviously, making sure I'm sat up to leave the hand a bit softer. Do you know what? Let him have a look a bit without, and if he runs off and runs in the other direction fast, I just gently slow him down, say, hey, no, you don't need to run away from things. Rather than try and hold him, which I think sometimes creates more tension, I like to say, look, have a look. There's nothing to be scared of. And like now, he's lovely because he's got so much power, but there's a pigeon there, so I know he's going to spook. If I'm really worried, I slow down. Find out, pigeon. Oh, pigeon's very tame. So we have to walk sometimes because I know he's going to spook. It's probably not ideal to be cantering past him. So we take our time, and it upsets him for a second. So I just have to, good boy, slow down again. And I'm trying to keep my hands low when that happens because I don't want to lose my balance. I don't want to jab him in the mouth or anything. I want him just to, you know, it's not wrong what he's doing. He's just careful. He's a horse that notices things. So I see if I can address it in the least, I'm going to call it emotional or reactive way. So sometimes it's great. This is why I like these gallops, because there's so much going on and suddenly you might get a rabbit or hare fly out the hedge, which is true to real life, isn't it? You know, you get a dog suddenly in the middle of the arena when you're doing your show jumping or whatever, and it's just the way it is. So it's really good safely to desensitize them. And the ones that are really spooky or a bit hot, I would like to, or the ones that I'm not confident enough just to drop the hand and ride forwards around, I would long rein and run around with them, because I think I'd rather train them better off the ground than do it badly on riding. You know, I want to have the experience that it's okay and that they're confident. And it's taken me a long time to learn how to just drop the hand. Good, because I hope, if you'll see when he spooks, I'm hoping my natural reaction is to drop the hand, which is keep the head down. Because what people, as I say, tend to do is bring the hand up, which makes the horse invert, which is, especially when they're jumping, which is even worse because then the horse can't go forwards. They wonder why the horse stops, or the horse suddenly feels horrible in the mouth. Well, it's got you hanging off the back of it. So we aim to relax the hand and, good boy, just let him look, take the nose out, keep going. Good boy. See, he's good this time. Good boy. Nice. So praise him for that. Good boy. He's a bit quick there, but it's fine. Good. Okay, so I do a little bit of light seat when I'm on a baby, a little bit of light seat before I canter, so they get used to the change in position, aiming to again keep my hands low. And then, do you know, if they naturally just pick up canter, then that's great, because I don't have to then give them a big strong aid to canter. Good boy. That's good. Great. Okay, so when we get down to the bottom, we get on the turn, he feels really good. So it feels like he's a little bit low at times, but that's fine because he's just nicely, really good in the mouth, feels even, feels relaxed. Perfect time to canter. So to canter, a good boy, just I use both legs, don't change the positioning. Good boy. And again, I'm just aiming just to swing along. Good boy. I sit up, you'll see me, I'm sat out the saddle actually, and then when I get to a bit that I think is a little bit spooky, good boy, I sit back, change my position in the saddle. I look at his expression as well. I'm looking to see his birdie again. Will he look? Ah, good boy. Fly with the bird. Or canter with, with the bird. Yeah, I'm looking for his expression all the time. He looks really keen, doesn't he? Bit suspicious there. That bird is trying to make his life trouble. Good boy. But nice. He's happy to go forwards. I like them to be not in control, of course, not like that, but they're the ones that are desiring to move forwards. not me making them. I think that's massive. So if you get the big stuff, the hard jumps, the difficult ground, good boy, lovely transition to trot. You know, the harder dressage movements, they've got to want to dig deep. If you have to make them go around here, then you're in trouble when you get to your competition, I firmly believe, and I've learned the hard way many times at that, because, you know, I think they're in front of the leg and I'm just probably kidding myself. So really conscious to make sure it's the horse's decision to take me around these gallops and a good forward canter. So I give him a walk off. I can canter the other way, but I don't personally feel, you know, today he's not in much work. He's just started again. He had 3 weeks off at the beginning of lockdown. I did a bit in hand work with him, and then the last couple of weeks he started working again. So I know he's achieved what I've wanted. He's done everything I've asked. He has been brilliant today. He's had a couple of spooks which he's dealt with very confidently. He did some lovely transitions. He's got a smile on his face now. He's walking off really nicely. And so to me, I think, well, I can canter on the right rein. If I need to get him fitter, that's great. But personally, I think he's been absolutely fantastic, and he's achieved what he needs to today, so that'll do.